The weather has turned. A headwind blows in one direction, a tailwind in the other, and in the middle of it all, rain-soaked athletes load their boats onto Alta Lake in Whistler.
To tell you the truth, in 15 years, these are the worst conditions I've ever rowed in.
It's actually not fun, but it's good to train in the weather like today.
Each woman has her reason for pushing through the cold and Whitecaps. Both Maureen Harriman and Diane Ziff are off to compete at the Head of the Charles in Boston this week. North America's biggest head race hosts 9,000 rowing competitors who are cheered on by 500,000 people. Each woman competes in her own age category.
I've done the Head of the Charles for the last 4 years. This will be the 5th year in a row. And last 2 years I've come second, so I'm hoping to win this year.
This world champion silver medalist was a former member of the Canadian lightweight national rowing team. 15 years later, the mother of 3 was inspired to finally get back into her boat. She didn't have much choice. Diane, the founder of the Whistler Rowing Club, didn't give her one.
Diane Ziff called me one day and she was rowing and wanted someone to come out and row with her. So I tried not to come out for a very long time and I had lots of excuses. She was quite persistent, so I eventually did come out, and ever since then, which was 5 years ago, we've been rowing quite a bit and got back into racing.
As of late, Diane has been an inspiration to Maureen in more ways than one. 2 years ago, the day before her 70th birthday, Diane was diagnosed with breast cancer. And despite her diagnosis, Diane still traveled to an Oregon regatta the next day.
I didn't want to miss the race. I had been training really hard for it. So we went down and got lots of medals. And I was just so pumped because I knew this would be my last race for a long time.
It was doctor's visits and surgery from then on in, followed by 3 months of chemo. But still, Diane found herself in the Whistler Rowing Club coach boat come spring.
She would ride in the coach boat, and she just physically wasn't really able to row. She asked me point blank, do you think I'd be ready to row the Charles? And I said, yeah, of course you could be.
Think about all you've been through the last year. There it is.
For me, it's like closure because it'll be a year that week that I finished chemo. I'm really rowing to show women that there's life after cancer, that you can row and you can do anything you want once you're stabilized and you start feeling well again. Rowing was a huge part of my healing process. You learn to be courageous, you learn to be steadfast, not to give up. You never give up. Like you saw today, we stuck it out there.
Whether overcoming waves, cancer, or the busyness of family life, still or choppy waters, rowing powers these women through it all. From Whistler, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for Shaw TV.